Next, we are going to read Chapter 7 of The Littles Take a Trip. When Hildy finally stopped running, the Littles were deep in the woods. Mr. Little and Tom climbed down from the cat. "You can open your eyes now, Mother," said Tom. "We've stopped." "Oh, dear," said Mrs. Little. "Oh, dear." Mr. Little helped Mrs. Little and Granny Little out of their baskets. "I don't want a ride like that again soon," said Mr. Little. "We lost one of our packs," said Granny Little. "It got stuck in a bush back yonder." Tom began to run. "I'll get it." "Hold on, Tom," said Mr. Little. "We're in the woods now. We'd better stick together." All the Littles looked around them at the woods. "Look," said Lucy. She pointed straight up. "The trees. See how they make a roof of leaves way high up? Aren't they beautiful?" "Beautiful my foot," said Uncle Pete. "We're in trouble, and all because of that doggone cat." "It's not Hildy's fault," said Tom. "The cat saved us from being trampled to death," said Granny Little. Tom walked over to where Hildy was lying down, licking her paw. "She got mixed up, that's all," he said. "Uh-oh, there's a cut on her paw." The Littles crowded around Hildy. Sure enough, she had a deep cut in the pad of her left forepaw. "Poor Hildy cat," said Lucy. She leaned against the wounded cat and whispered in her ear. "Well, that's that," said Mr. Little. "Hildy can't go on with a cut paw." "Listen," said Tom. "What's that?" "It's Henry Big again," said Mr. Little. "He must be looking for Hildy," said Tom. "Quick," said Mr. Little. "Get the packs and bags off of Hildy." The Littles piled all over one another in their hurry. Then they ran under the nearest bush and dragging everything with them. "Here, Hildy," called Henry Big. He was almost there. Hildy tried to climb under the bush with the Littles. "Talk to her, Tom," said Mr. Little. "No, Hildy," said Tom. "Go with Henry." The cat gave Tom a puzzled look. "Go," said Tom. "Hey, there she is, trying to crawl under a bush," said one of Henry's friends. "Hey, Hildy, come here," said Henry. The cat turned away from the bush and limped toward Henry. "Aw, she's hurt," said Henry. He ran to Hildy and scooped her up in his arms. "She's been hurt. I told you guys she was hurt." The three boys looked the cat over. "It's her foot," said Henry. "She has a bad cut. Come on, you guys. My mom will know what to do." He ran with the cat back toward his house. Mr. Little sat down on the pile of packs. "Well," he said. He took a deep breath. "We have a choice. We can go back to the Big's house and start over, or we can—" "Push on," finished Uncle Pete. "We're halfway through the woods already. There is danger either way," said Mr. Little. "Do we know the way?" Mrs. Little asked. "Of course," said Uncle Pete. "We came from that way, and we have to go that way." He pointed with his cane. "I agree with Uncle Pete that we are probably halfway into the woods," said Mr. Little. "We came quite a distance," said Granny Little. "I had my eyes closed," said Mrs. Little. "I watched every step of the way," said Granny Little. "Sorry about your baskets, Granny," said Mr. Little. "We're going to have to leave them behind." "I hope Hildy would be okay," said Tom. "I don't care much for cats," said Uncle Pete, "but I sure hate to see that poor animal hurt." "All right," said Mr. Little. "Let's get these packs on and get going." "I'll carry yours, Granny." "Shouldn't we try to find the path?" Tom said. "I've heard Henry say it goes through the woods to the road." "Tom and I could scout around for the path," said Uncle Pete. "It may take a little time. I think the ladies should stay here and save your strength." "You said we should stay together, Will," said Mrs. Little. "Uncle Pete has a point," said Mr. Little. "It may take some time to find the path." "Tom and I will circle around and come back every now and then to check with you," said Uncle Pete. Uncle Pete and Tom moved off through the underbrush. The walking was rough. They had to go around weeds and thick wild bushes. It took a long time to go a short way. "We'll have to find the path," said Uncle Pete, "or it'll take us a month of Sundays to get out of these woods." At last they found their path. Uncle Pete stood in the middle of the path and leaned on his cane. "This is a sight for sore eyes," he said. The path was wide and seemed to go on forever. "It's like a road for tiny people," said Tom. "It's as though someone made it especially for us." They hurried back to get the others, but when they got to the place, there was no one in sight. "I wonder where they went." Crazy.